Welcome to another episode of The Art Patient. Thank you for joining me. It's a lovely day at the end of Easter, the Easter holidays. We've got a lovely sunny day again, and the birds are serenading us, and the bushes are rubbing against the shed. Okay, as promised, today I'm going to talk about the nature of having memory in your heart and how the heart is capable of holding memories. Okay, let's get going. The heart is responsible for producing a lot more hormones than we were first ever led to believe. I suppose this comes back to dogmatism again, guys, like I was talking about in the other videos, that you have, in the world of medicine, you have peer reviews, and sometimes those peer reviews are hard to overturn because they essentially put people in a position of power, and so humanity never moves on with its beliefs. Okay, so anyway, one of those hormones the heart produces is brain natriuretic factor. Okay, brain natriuretic factor is produced by the ventricles and pushed into the bloodstream. Now, like I said before, imagine your bloodstream not as a river. Your bloodstream is a vortex within a vortex. Okay, so look at a tornado. That's your bloodstream, is the tornado effect. That's important here. Okay, so this hormone, what does it do? It's produced in time of stress. It vasodilates like most of the hormones from the heart, and also it becomes a beta precursor. Okay, a beta amyloid precursor. It's protective of the hippo-campus area of the brain. Very protective. This is where it gets interesting, because it also influences the ability to memorize and learn. Okay, now people with Alzheimer's and people with Parkinson's have very low levels of brain natriuretic factor. Okay, brain natriuretic factor, okay, is allowed to do what it does by the effect of neurotransmitters from the heart. One of those neurotransmitters that was always associated with the brain, okay, we're on about hormones that allow neurotransmission through nerve cells here, guys. One of those neurotransmitters that was always associated with brain was dopamine. Now, dopamine is put together by L-dopa, okay, it's a precursor. What makes L-dopa? Two amino acids. One's tyrosine and the other one is phenylalanine. Phenylalanine and tyrosine make dopamine. Okay? Dopamine is a well-known neurotransmitter. Dopamine is associated with your inclination to be sexually excited in the male, an orgasm in the female ladies. Low dopamine, less chance of an orgasm. Okay, fellas, you'll have no interest in sex with a depressed dopamine. If you've got depressed dopamine levels or suppressed dopamine levels, okay, it's directly related to the strength of your erection as well. There's also acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine is another neurotransmitter made of exactly the same stuff, phenylalanine, okay, and tyrosine coming together to make a neurotransmitter. And this is closely associated with vasodilation and memory and learning again. I've come across some information, right, in my research that people again with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's have low levels of acetylcholine neurotransmitter from the heart, also made in the brain, also made in the gastrointestinal tract. Then we have norepinephrine, another neurotransmitter. Norepinephrine, made of the same constituents again, won't repeat them now, has more to do with vasodilation and atheroma plaque, it stops you getting it, and fat deposits. Okay? So how does this, right, how can we compare this to everyday? Well, this took me, everyday incidents rather, this took me 8 years to find out why I lost my memory. And so here we go, with our memory is stored in your heart. Right, I'd just been led out of hospital. I was led to a car which I didn't recognise, and I've always been a car fan. I actually bought the car and I didn't recognise my own car. I got into a car with a beautiful blonde woman, and as we set off, I asked her where she was taking me, and she said she was taking me home. So I looked at her and I said, "Are we related?" And she said, "I'm taking you home to look after you." It took me the best part of a year for some of my memories. She was taking me home from hospital when I had my problem. I was in hospital for a month. I came out with no memory whatsoever. To this day, I suffer with short-term memory. One of the reasons, unlike other YouTubers, I'm not reading from a script, guys. Everything coming from here. One of the reasons I do that is for that very reason, is to help my memory, because I had no memory when I left hospital of who I was. That always baffled me, right? And I can just explain this to you now. The heart holds memories, okay? It makes its own memories. Memories are not just stored in the brain, they're stored in the heart, okay? With that said, now I'm going to tell you the story of an American gentleman, middle-aged guy like myself, but this guy was in much worse a condition. You'll have to excuse the hands, they're not mine. This guy was in much worse a condition. He needed a heart and lungs transplant. It's easier to do the two than just do the one. They gave the guy a heart and lung transplant. After 6 months of recovery, his wife noticed when he was let out from hospital and slightly getting better, his wife noticed that he was locking himself in the bathroom for periods of 10 minutes or more. She thought nothing of it. It wasn't until she was doing some hoovering around the house, she moved a set of drawers. Under the drawers was a set of the guy's stash of pornographic magazines. The guy had taken, in middle age, to going into the toilet, and looking at porn, okay? When his wife confronted him, he said, yeah, this was the case. His wife had also noticed that when she did the shopping, because this guy still weren't that mobile to be lifting bags, when she did the shopping, her husband had taken a liking for Hershey bars. They're like Hershey bars, an American version of a Mars bar, I presume. I don't know if they're a chocolate bar. This guy was doing a lot of chocolate bars in the day. They mentioned this to the doctor, and the doctor had no clue as to why this was. Okay? When the doctor was talking to the surgeon who did the operation, then it became apparent. The middle-aged man had received the heart of an 18-year-old teenager, and he'd inherited the memory of the heart, and that included what teenagers do. They masturbate and they eat chocolate bars. Okay, so you can see, and there are many cases like this, guys. There are many stories like that, including my own story of the memory. Once I came across this information, that made sense. Your heart holds memories, as well as manufacturing electromagnetic field. It's an electromagnetic oscillator. Okay, so it also produces emotions. Okay, all your emotions are heart related. They're the feeling of the electromagnetic fields is what an emotion is. But there you go. There's just one of the hormones and the effect it has within your heart. With that said, right, we are somehow connecting Alzheimer's and Parkinson's with the heart, aren't we? Maybe Alzheimer's and Parkinson's actually start within the heart, and they are materialized in the brain, in the hippo-campus or the amygdala, because the heart is running the show. Okay, and your heart 100% stores lots of memories. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and look out for more videos, and best of luck with your health. Thank you.